Hello, and welcome back to another Enhanced Prefab Loader tutorial. It's a mod for TCG Cardshop Simulator for adding new items into the game. Today, we're going to go over adding brand new cards and card sets. And this is done without texture replacing, and it is also done without any reliance on without any restrictions from the main game. So you can add any number of card sets with any number of cards that you wish to add. There is no restriction on this. So let's get right into it. If you have watched previous episodes of my tutorial videos, you'll know that each of my folders have a suffix on them, all of them in and underscore something. This is done so basically the asset bundle script that I provide is able to figure out what this item is. So for instance, this one has underscore deco. So this TV is a deco item. Um, all my all my arcade machines have underscore prefab. So they are prefab items. If I go down to like sellable examples, all of these will have underscore item because they go in the item shops, right? So with that being said, there is now a new underscore item. It is underscore card set. This is important if you plan to use my provided bundle script because it uses these underscores to figure stuff out. So, with that being said, let's jump right into this. With my previous tutorials, I've also explained the how to set up for the bundles, and I'm going to explain it again. So I keep all my bundles in one folder, and then each of these individual folders, if you click on them, you'll notice down here at the bottom, it shows asset bundle, my bundle / decode video, new card examples, arcade machines, so on and so forth, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the folder you want. For my example, I want to do the cards example folder, and I've already got it set to my bundle / new card example, but you would basically click this and figure out where you want this to go. So you would pick one that's already there, or you would hit new and create a new one, or so on and so forth. And this also determines where your bundle is placed once it's bundled and everything is good. So this is going to go into my assets folder, into my bundles. So if I go down to asset bundles, my bundles, and it's going to go in here. So with that being explained, let's go ahead and jump into this. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on the card examples folder because I've already have it set up. It's already set into a bundle. You don't have to set any of these folders to be in the bundle. It's just going to be in the bundle because it's in the folder. All right. So with card sets and cards, well, we want a way to be able to open your cards or sell your cards in a card pack or a card box. So we're going to go ahead and add card packs and card boxes too. I already have a video on adding items, but I just quickly go through it for this one as well. So I already have my folder set up. So I got my PokePack underscore item and my PokeBox underscore item. I'm not adding Pokemon cards. I'm just calling it PokePack and PokeBox because I'm using Pokemon textures for the pack in the box. So if I go back here, so PokePack, we'll start with the pack. So what we're wanting to add to this folder is we're going to want to add the sprite, right? So this is going to be what is shown in the shop and what is shown on the packaging box when you buy it and it gets dropped off on your doorstep. So you hit apply, you just change it to, you click on the sprite, you change it to sprite 2D, and you just hit apply, and that's good. You don't need to provide a mesh for PokePacks you don't need to provide a mesh for the packs or the box or card boxes. But you do need to provide the sprite and a material. So we're going to create a new material. And I'm just going to call this one GN Pack material. If you want to use the shader that the base game uses Toonie Colors Pro 2 standard PBS. And then you can just take and you drag your texture to that. So the way Prefab Loader works for card packs is it uses for the meshes, it uses the mesh that's already in the game. So your texture for that needs to be this. You can find this within the Unity editor if you just go under, there should be a textures folder. And we can find it faster if we go to material probably. You just scroll down and you find this, and then the texture is there. Right? So you base your texture off of this texture. Same size and everything, and just cover the pieces with your parts of the pack. And this is it. This is all we need for packs. We don't need to provide a mesh or anything else. So let's go ahead and do Pokebox. So this is just going to be the card box. So we're going to start off again with our sprite. We'll just go and mark that as a sprite 2D again. All right. So with card boxes, you can provide your own mesh. You do not have to. If you do not provide one, I will pull the one from the base game. I'm not going to provide one here because this is not an add item tutorial. This is an add card set tutorial. So we're just going to go and let it pull the box from the base game. So the only other thing that I need here then is a material. So we're just going to go ahead and create a new material. And I'm just going to call this one GN Pokebox. And we're going to use the Toonie Colors standard PBS again. And it needs a texture. I have my texture for it here. For the Pokeboxes, if you allow me to use the one from the main game, this is the texture layout that you need to provide. And the one from the main game that I pull uses this top texture here. You need to provide the entire layout, even if these get ignored. You still need to provide the entire layout. He uses he uses 4 meshes for the one texture versus 4 textures for one mesh. So it needs to be this one here if you allow me to use the mesh from the base game. But that is it. That's all we need for card boxes if you are not providing a mesh. So let's go ahead and start with the actual card sets. So card sets is going to have the underscore card set. So I have my arena underscore card set. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add a card back. The card back texture needs to follow this layout. It's the same layout in the base game. You can find it in Unity Editor if you want to make a copy and set it up correctly, right? Let's see if we can find it real fast. Not in mesh. Might be able to just go card. Yep, this one here. Right? So you just make your texture based off this, and that's the texture that is used for the card back. This is going to remain a texture. It's going to get a little confusing a little later. The tooling says sprite, but this is not a sprite. It is to remain a texture. And then you're going to add a card foil mask. This is basically the mask saying, this is where I want foil to appear on my card if it is foil. This is going to be a sprite. You can choose for your card sets to not have foils, in which case you can just provide whatever you want to for this. You probably, I would like to say you don't have to provide it, but I have not tested it, so I would at least provide a blank file for it. But it's going to be a sprite. That's it for the actual card set portion. That's all you need. Now we're going to get into the cards. The cards are going to be folders within this card set folder. They don't have to have any type of special ending on them. They're just going to be named the cards. So for instance, let's make this one Ichigo. We'll add a character from Bleach. So I have a lot of cards here downloaded, and I think I have a decent looking Ichigo in here somewhere. There we go. So I'm just going to drag this and drop it in the folder. We'll make a new folder. We are going to let's use Rukia. I'm going to take that and drag it in the folder. Let's do this guy, Shashiro from Kaiju number 8. And I can't remember how to spell that, so let's get him to pop his name back up here. SOSHIR. And we'll go ahead and grab him and drag him into his folder. Let's add 4 more, just so we have 7. It's 7 cards per pack, so let's do 4 more, just so we have 7. Let's just pick random ones here. We'll go with this guy from Hunter. Ginthru. Three more. We'll go with this guy from Demon Slayer, Muichiro. I'm sure I butchered that. Let me put it over here so I can. I'm gonna put him in his folder. 2 more. So folder. We'll go with Aaron. Let's do Aaron from Attack on Titan. Put him in his folder. One more. One more. Let's go ahead and do. Let's do Asta from Black Bulls, from Black Clover. Okay, so I have my 7 cards here. There's one more thing I need to do here. Let me close out all these PNGs I got open now. So there's one more thing I need to do here, and the easiest way you do it, make sure that I get all of it done, is to just click this, and then you can select all these folders by clicking the top one and shift clicking the bottom one. And it'll show you everything that's in all these folders. So I need to go through and I need to set all of these to Sprite 2D. These names on the sprites, they need to be 100% unique across all sprites that are added by Enhanced Prefab Loader. Matter of fact, any sprites at all that you add, including like this card foil mask, it needs to be unique across all sprites within Enhanced Prefab Loader. Textures have to have unique names against all textures that are loaded by Enhanced Prefab Loader. So you probably don't want to call your card back. You probably want to prefix it, postfix it, something that's kind of unique to you. Same with your sprites, prefix them, postfix them, something that's unique to you. That not very likely somebody else is going to use. But that's it. Everything is set up for the cards. That is 100% the setup. The setup is done. So now we're going to export these, and as I said, I do provide an optional, I highly recommend it, bundle verification script. What this script does is it scans your assets folder. I mean, not your assets folder, but it scans your bundle folder. For all bundles that you have selected, for all bundles that are for all folders that are in an asset bundle, it scans them. And it picks up on the underscore item underscore deco underscore prefab and now underscore card set, and it pulls a lot of the information that you need and automatically fills it in for you. So let's go ahead and hit right click and hit build asset bundles with verification, and this is what my script does. So I'm going to click off. I don't want to include any of these other things because there are other items that I'm working on for like example purposes. So I'm going to click those off. We'll go to card examples. This is going to be our cards. So first thing we want to do, the card expansion name, this is going to be the name that shows up on the button. When you open your binder and you hit the expansion sort, and you say you want to change your expansion, this is going to be the name that shows up on that button. These all cards all come from a game called Union Arena, so I'm just going to call it Union Arena. Sure, we will let the expansion have foils. If the expansion has foils, that means every card in the expansion can be foil. The card back sprite, so what we want to do here is, this is why I said it get confusing. It says card back sprite, but it's not a sprite, it is a texture. What we want to do here is we just want to make sure that we mimic, we just put in the name here. Again, this does need to be unique around every texture that's being added via Prefab Loader. So you probably want to rename this texture to be something like, just prefix it, postfix it. I like to wrap stuff in GN. I'm not going to for this because I'm not renaming the texture. Well, you know what? I will. Let's rename the texture. GN card back, GN. Okay. So now that I've renamed the card back, just make sure we get that GN wrapping in here. Let's go ahead and rename the foil mask, because again, that's a sprite, and that has to be unique across all sprites added by Prefab Loader, and not just from your mod either. So it has to be unique across all sprites, across everybody's mods that's adding stuff to by Prefab Loader. This is called foil mask, and it's just wrapped in GN, so that should make it pretty unique. I don't think anybody else is going to wrap this stuff in GN, wrap their naming in GN. All right. Now that that's done, now we have to add our rarities. So what rarities do we want for our card set? We're just going to go with commons. And this is a little buggy, so this isn't going to pick up on this. We just hit add rarity again. There's only one rarity here. As long as you don't write anything in, it'll just be one. But you can have as many as you want, right? You can have 20 rarities if you want, and you can assign those down here. So let's go through the cards. The name of the card don't really matter. You can name it whatever. The element type, this only matters for like the for the daily price influxes. The card table, like the card table events, if it's an event that affects fire cards and this card type, this card element type is fire, this card will be affected by that. Border type affects pricing. So border type only affects pricing. So you're not going to get a EX, a gold, for or whatever. You're going to get whatever the sprite was for that card. Um, so this only affects pricing. Base giving you the smallest price, full art giving you the best price. Right. So we're just going to leave this one as base and put it as common, because common is all, well, commons apparently. So I'm not going to change it. Card number, leave it alone. They auto number 0 through however many cards you have. That's exactly what they need to be. Sprite should be auto filled with the sprite that's in the folder. So if we double click Asta and we just check that, the name should match up. AP, yep. So that should be the same for every card in here. Oops. So for each of these, I'm just going to go ahead and let's put this one as first edition. That way we can kind of see like the price fluctuations. Let's put this one as silver, gold, EX, full art, base. All right. Oh, what did I do? Okay, I just okay. All right. So now we'll be able to see some of the price fluctuations when we go into the game and start opening cards. Your rarities also play a part in it as well. If you add multiple rarities, the rarity that's added first is technically like your common rarity. The rarity you add last is your most rare rarity. Um, so just make sure you keep that in mind when you're adding rarities, because that's also taken into price consideration. So let me just minimize these, because that's done. That's all we need for there. All right, so let's go to the items. Name, this is what's going to appear in the shop. If it is for giving cards, for getting cards and giving cards out, it needs to be TCG. So card boxes and card packs need to be category TCG. Sprite should automatically be picked up. Again, this needs to be unique across all sprites added by Enhanced Prefab Loader. So I'm just going to change the sprite name and wrap it with GN. And it actually already picked up the changes. No, it didn't. That's the wrong field. All right. Okay, so I just update the sprite name now that I've wrapped that with GN. Wrap it with GN here as well. Oops, I accidentally minimized that. Wrap it with GN here as well. Hide until unlocked. We're going to leave it checked just to show you what it does, but it basically puts the little question mark above it in the shop if it's not unlocked already. Item type. This needs to be unique across all item type across all items added in the game via Prefab Loader, but it can be whatever you want it to be. So I guess wrap this one with GN and call it Pokebox. I could call it whatever I want. It don't matter. It just has to be unique across all items that are added or ever will be added by Prefab Loader into the game. License price is just the price that it costs to unlock the item, and the license level is what level it costs to unlock the item. Is big boxes, whether it's a big box or a half box, you should know what that is by the big and small boxes of cards. The small box of boxes comes with like 4 boxes. The big box comes with like 8 boxes or something like that. I can't remember. Ignore double image. What this does is on the big boxes, for the cards in the boxes, for the cards in the boxes, for the big boxes, you see like the pack slightly behind the pack or the box slightly behind the box. That's what the double image is. So if you don't have big box marked, you may want to mark ignore double image, just to show that it's a small box, right? Just to stay consistent with the game. But we're going to make it a big box, so we're going to leave the ignore double image off. This is our booster box, so I click is booster box. So I'm going to unclick it just to show there are some extra stuff down here that's kind of hidden once you click booster box, because it's not needed. So don't worry about filling it out if it disappears. Base cost, this is price per box. So I'm just going to leave it at 20 because I'm not worried about it. Min market price and max market price is kind of what the game uses to kind of calculate like a market price for it. It's good. Follow item price. This is just the item type that it attempts to stay close to in price. I don't usually mark anything for that. And price affected by, so anytime common pack price, the price of like a common card pack changes, it will affect the price of this as well. And that's just kind of handled by the main game, so you can change it to whatever you would like to here. And you can add multiples. I'm just going to leave it at that though. The material should automatically be picked up. You can add multiple materials for boxes, though I don't think it really does anything. This is where, if for a card box, if you want to provide a mesh, it should automatically pick it up. If it doesn't, then you would just add your mesh into this folder and put the name of your mesh here. And then you would have to give me the offsets and everything for that mesh so that it fits correctly in the box. This is explained in my add item tutorial, so I'm not going to go back through all that. The spawns packs. This is new. I'd need to know what pack this booster box would give you when you open it. So if I come down here and I unclick this, it's going to say no booster packs found because nothing is marked as a booster pack yet. So if I mark it as a booster pack, then it will say that, hey, this is a booster pack, and it will put this item type up here. If you have multiple booster packs within this asset pack, this is a drop down, so you can pick. All right, so off the packs. Packs is all pretty much the same. Pokey Pack, or this is the name that shows up in the shop. TCG, the sprite. I'm gonna go ahead and follow my own rules here, and we're going to change that sprite name as well. And we're just going to surround it with GN, like everything else I've done so far. And we just have to change it here. All right. The item type, same as the box, it just has to be unique across all items. So this one's GN Poke Pack. License price, unlock price, license level, the unlock level. This again, big box. We're not going to ignore the double image, and it is a booster pack. Please don't do this. It will break. Okay? It tries to treat it as a box and a pack, and it just does not work. All right. Base cost, I'm just going to leave it at 1. It don't matter for this purpose, and go back through that. Price affected by, same thing as above. Material, same thing as above. It automatically picks it up. It should be good to go. All right. So now we're done with, okay. Now we're done with the pack. We're done with most of the pack. For the packs, we have an extra spot down here, the booster pack configuration. Okay, so this has, this expansion type, before I move forward, this expansion type has to be unique across all expansion types that will be added or ever has been added to Prefab Loader. So just, again, prefix it, postfix it, do whatever you gotta do. Just make sure it's unique to you, or unique enough to you to the point where somebody else probably is not going to copy you. So down here in the pack configuration, this card expansion should automatically be picked up. Right now, I only have one card set, so there's only one option in this. If you have multiple card sets, you just pick which card set you want this pack to give cards from. So I only have one card set, so there's only one card set it can pull packs from. Can have duplicates. Does this particular pack have duplicate cards in the pack? Can it have duplicate cards in the pack? So I'm gonna mark yes because I only have 7 cards, so it'd be kind of weird for not to have some duplicates, right? Can have God Pack. Right now, I believe the settings for God Pack is 1 in 100,000. But God Pack is just that, God Pack, right? Um, Generation, we're going to use all random, but I'm going to go through all of them. Guaranteed. So what guaranteed does is if I had more rarities here, I can say for common, I want common slot. I want slot 1, slot 7, slot 2, and slot 3 to always be common. So I just select those slots. Now let's say I have more rarities. Let me go up here and add another rarity. For rare, so say I want slot 1 to be rare. So now we have commons and rare in slot 1. It will go off of these weights. So it's going to randomly choose a common or a rare for slot 1, and it's going to go off the normal weight. So let's just say I do something like that, right? So for slot 1 is with this setup, it's going to be more liable to pick a rare card than a common card, but slot 1 can have a common or a rare in it. Any slot that is not denoted, like for instance for this one, we have 4, 5, and 6 that don't have anything selected here. So 4, 5, and 6 will be random between all the rarities, given taking these weights into consideration. So in this case, 4, 5, and 6 are more likely to be a rare card than a common card. We're going to put those back to 1. They don't really matter. We're doing all random, right? We're going to remove that. We're just going to add that blank one again, just make sure nothing breaks. Because it, like I said, it's a little buggy. I'm going to fix this as we go, but this does work for right now. The God Pack weight has God Pack. Let me add that rarity back. Let me add a couple more rarities. I guess it don't really matter whether these rarities are in here or not, but okay. So the God Pack rates, these are used for if you roll a God Pack. So let's say I don't want commons, rares, or ultra rares in my God Pack. I will leave these as 0. This one I just put at 1. So if I get a God Pack, my God Pack is only going to consist of super rares. God Packs do automatically set the foil chance to 100% as well. If the expansion can have foils, that is. But let's say I want ultra rares and super rares in my God Pack, but I want slightly more ultra rare or super rares. I can do something like that. So now ultra rare and super rares can be in my God Pack, but it's going to give me super rares a little bit more often because 6 is bigger than 4. You can probably Google or ask ChatGPT how to do weights for what specific type of pull ratios you want, right? But we're not going to have God packs on this. I only have 7 cards, so every pack is pretty much a God pack, right? I only got 7 cards. I am going to remove these rarities. All right, and then all random weighted is the entire pack is random, but it takes these weights into account. So it goes through and it picks your rarity based off these weights and picks a random card from that rarity. So right now it's going to give me all the commons, but say I got commons and rares. Rares is 0.7, commons is 0.3. It's going to be more often than not is going to give me a rare. And then all random, which we're going to use for this card set, is just that, all random. It picks 7 random cards from the card set and puts them in the pack. It does take can have duplicates into account. All of them take can have duplicates into account. So if you have that unchecked, you won't get duplicates in a pack. I have it checked because 7 cards and 7 cards in a pack. So I just have it checked because it makes more sense for only having 7 cards in the set. God packs are always can have duplicate. That gets overridden for a God pack roll. All right, and that's it. That is set up complete. So now what we need to do is just hit build selected bundles. If I go asset bundles, my bundles, you should be able to see new card here this is my asset bundle. This is my JSON file that was wrote out for me from my editor script. And then this here is also a JSON file that was wrote out for me with the editor script that I need as well. I forgot to mention one thing is that the rarities need to be unique to your mod. They need to be unique across any rarities that could possibly be added into the game. Um, the rarities do not show up in game. Um, at least the ones you add won't. So when you're adding your rarities, you just need to make sure that common is something that somebody somewhere is probably going to add to the game eventually, right? So you don't want it to be common. You want to wrap it as well. It's not going to show up in the game. It's just basically a way for pricing and a way to actually set like pull rarity, right? It's not going to be displayed anywhere. So this isn't a big deal. But like if you have like SSR cards, like SSR is a common rank, a common rarity. I mean, somebody's probably going to put SSR as a rarity, so you may want to just set it right. All right. Now that that's said, I have my here. So what I typically do is I'll go show in Explorer, exported project, assets, asset bundles, my bundles, and they'll be here. So now I can drag and copy them. Let me find. Okay, so one change that has been made to Enhanced Prefab Loader is your asset bundle and your JSON no longer has to be in my file. They can be in their own file. The only thing is the folder where the asset bundle and the JSON go into has to end with underscore prefab loader. And this doesn't have to have an uppercase L. It could be all lowercase. It could be all uppercase, as long as it ends with underscore prefab loader. So we're going to go ahead and use this folder that I already have. We're going to get rid of the examples I've already got in here. And we're just going to copy the asset bundle and the JSON file over to this folder. Now we need to go to patchers. Same thing here. It does not have to be in my folder as long as the folder that it eventually goes into has an underscore prefab loader on it or ends with underscore prefab loader. We're going to delete what I have in there and we're going to move the objects underscore new card example .json in there. That's it. That's the mod. That's so now your mod with Prefab Loader now consists of new card examples as a pre-patcher, as a patcher, and new card example as plugin. That's it. So we can go into play the game. Load my test file over here. I hit a small error here. Let me see if I can. It is probably, and from what I saw in the logs, it looks like rarity did not go through. So we're going to do a little bit of some new card example arena. We're going to do a little bit of debug stuff here. So it said one of them had an invalid rarity. So we're just going to look. We're going to scroll down to our card sets right here. Okay, so this is where we added a blank. So being the editor is a little bit buggy, you may have to come in here and delete a blank. Commons. Okay, everything else looks good there, so we're just going to save that. Let's go into plugins. Let's go into patchers, go into new card, prefab loader, and we're just going to check here rarity commons. Yep. Okay. So now we just need to reload the game. Okay. Uh-oh. Let me see. What does the log say here? Okay. Well, no. Okay. I'm just trying to find. Apparently I closed the file, so let's okay. Let's go back plugins, new card example. All right. So remember I changed this and wrapped it in GN. For these sprites, I also wrapped them in GN. I don't know why it didn't. It should have. let me just make sure. Yes, I used lowercase gn. I used lowercase gn there. Make sure that everything else looks good here. Materials is done with gn as well. We can just double check that. Yes, but they're uppercase gn and uppercase gn. So my tooling needs a little bit of work, but this is stuff that you need to double check anyway, just to make sure that it picked up correctly. Like this one picked up the sprite name correctly here, right? Okay, I think that's good. So now we just need to reload again. Oh, is it? There it goes. Okay, we got a couple more errors here. What's the issue? Okay. So here's the issue. It's complaining about the card foil back. Why did I close that out again? Plugins, new card example. It's complaining about the foil the foil mask. Oh yep, that's right. Rewrap that. And it's complaining about the Pokebox material. So let's just double check what we named that in here. Pokebox GN. Oh, we just called it GN Pokebox. I think it is something different in here. So that's updated, and then here items Pokebox. Yep. So we just need to boop, save that, and then just reload one more time, and this should be it. So and don't worry, I will get the script updated and make sure that this is not happening in the future with my script. But this is all general setup issues that you may experience and have to debug. And it's not any issues with the prefab loader itself, so your items will still end up getting added. So there's my item, price and everything's been calculated. we can go pull my cards. Of course, I mean, these are going to be highly expensive cards because we only got one rarity, and but there's the cards. They all good to go. They show up in your binder. Union Arena shows up right there. Boom. There's the cards. You can get them graded. And they also work just fine in card benches and in projectors. So there you go. That's it. That's all you got to do. Minus the couple of hiccups that we had on the config stuff. It's as simple as that. It really is. That's and once I get that script a little bit less buggy, it's going to be even more simpler. But that's it. And there you go. There's your new card set. Well, thank you for sticking with me on that. Sticking with me through the little debugging. But we got it figured out, and that's adding a new set of cards. All right, thank you.